Welcome to another episode of Rhyme and Reason, brought to you by the College of Arts and Humanities, which we call RHU around here at the University of Maryland. Rhyme and Reason podcasts are riveting, provocative, fascinating discussions with some of the most compelling leaders in arts and humanities from the University of Maryland. Be sure to subscribe to Rhyme and Reason wherever you listen to your podcast so you won't miss a single episode. I'm your host for Rhyme and Reason. I'm Stephanie Shonekan, the proud dean of the College of Arts and Humanities. Our podcast series is focused on conversations about race, equity, and justice. On Rhyme and Reason, we'll hear from folks from across the RHU spectrum who are studying and thinking about these powerful ideas. So today, it's a great honor to welcome to Rhyme and Reason Dr. Cécile Accilien. She's a professor in RHU's School of Languages, Literatures, and Cultures, specifically the French division. Thanks so much for being here, Cécile.
Thank you for having me.
It's funny because sometimes I think of us as the twins in RHU.
Yes, the twins with locks.
Yes, exactly. Same hairstyle, same skin tone, right? But before we get into the questions, let me tell our listeners a little bit more about you. Dr. Accilien is the professor of French and Francophone studies at the University of Maryland. Her research focuses on Francophone African and Caribbean literatures and cultures, gender and sexuality studies, and film and media studies. She has published in journals such as Forum for Inter-American Research, the Southern Quarterly, and Journal of Haitian Studies. Cécile has co-edited Teaching Haiti, Strategies for Creating New Narratives, and she has co-authored a book called The Anti-Racism World Language Classroom, as well as English Haitian Creole Phrasebook. Her latest book, Baylodians, Haitian Popular Film Culture, was published by SUNY Press. She joined us here at the University of Maryland just last year.
Yes, 2023.
That's right, and is already taking things by storm, including taking students to study abroad, which I'd like to talk about later on. But I'd like to kind of start, Cécile, with how you found your way to academia and to the study of Haiti.
Wow. How long do you have? In undergrad, I actually majored in biology.
No kidding. Had no idea about that.
I was pre-med for 3 years. And in my junior year, I had, I don't know if I want to call it an anxiety attack, but I basically did not like biology. What did it for me was dissecting the shark. So that was very traumatic. I realized that that was not a career I wanted. And so I was taking international studies as a minor. I was taking French as a minor. And I switched to French literature and culture. And I spent a year abroad. And that year was really so important for me because that's when I learned about really French-speaking countries, such as Senegal, Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and I learned about their literature and culture. I learned about post-colonialism, and that is what got me to want to learn more about my own culture, about Haiti. So I came back from France, really excited about all this knowledge, all the courses I had taken on primarily African literatures while studying in France. And after my BA, I really couldn't find a job. So I said, well, let me continue and go to school. And I had a professor who then encouraged me because University of Louisiana in Lafayette had just opened a PhD program in Francophone studies. And this was in the late 90s. This was the first time you had a university that really focused on former colonies, not just France. And that was one of the first program, and that's how I became interested in Francophone studies.
So interesting, from biology to Francophone studies.
Yes.
I'd love to know, how do you start to focus in on Haiti?
Yeah, so I did my master's at University of Louisiana in Lafayette in Louisiana, and I felt like the courses were the same for the MA and the PhD program. So I transferred to Tulane University, I wanted to work with an African scholars, Amadou Kone at the time. And so that's why I transferred after finishing my master's and doing a year of PhD work. I went to Tulane University. Unfortunately for me, he left the year I got there.
Oh, that's what happens when as students, we go for the professor,
exactly.
Right?
And so, but I also was interested in Tulane because they had a program where they were recruiting me because they wanted me to teach Haitian Creole. And that was huge for me because I grew up in Haiti where we were punished for speaking Creole at school. I mean, at home, I will speak Creole. Right. But at school, if you spoke Creole, sometimes you will have to write 150 or 200 times, I will not disrespect the school by speaking in Creole as opposed to French. So it was very colonial. So for me, that was an exciting thing to go to a place that was honoring my native language, whereas I grew up in a space where I was told that I should not speak my language.
It's similar to my experience coming to Indiana University, and there was a student there who was going to West Africa to do some field work, and she needed to learn Pidgin English. So they hired me to teach her Pidgin English, which is the sort of vernacular form of English, which is not spoken at schools or anything like that. But I think it's similar to your story, this idea that the languages in our colonial spaces that were frowned down upon have now become part of the academy, which is pretty wonderful.
Yes.
Cécile, before we get into talking about your books, before we get there, why is the study of Haiti particular and also very important, at least and even at this time?
Yes, because at this time, Haiti is sadly being occupied by gangs, and many of us who study Haiti, we know it's part of its complex history of having been the first Black nation that is documented to have taken its independence. It was not giving to it. It really fought for its independence and became the first documented Black republic and the second country in the Americas after the U.S. to claim its independence. So in many ways, the politics of ongoing embargo is as a result of that. And too many times people want me to explain Haiti to them in 5 minutes or less. And that's such a frustration because I say you cannot talk about Haiti without talking about its history, its politics, its geopolitics. For instance, we cannot understand what Haiti is dealing with now without talking about colorism, but also without talking about the fact that after its independence, it had to pay France reparations. We cannot understand Haiti without understanding what the American occupation of Haiti that lasted 19 years, what it did to the country, the fact that the Americans took money outside of Haiti. We have to contextualize history. And Haiti is in the U.S.'s backyard, or the U.S. is in Haiti's backyard, whichever way you want to look at it. Exactly. Right. So those relationships are complex and complicated. And we also have to look at, when we look at a state like Louisiana, especially New Orleans, the connections to Haiti, whether we're talking about in terms of music, in terms of religion, in terms of architecture.
And language.
So we forget about these connections. I think at times we see this exceptionalism. Haiti is, quote unquote, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Haiti is often connected to disaster. But people do not notice Haiti, that at one point, Haiti was France's most important colony in terms of its sugar plantation as well as later on coffee. But we don't learn about this history. And many cities in France, they were built on the back of Haiti.
It's really complicated and complex, and I totally understand your gentle pushback to anybody who asks, tell me about Haiti, because it is really so much. So one of the books, Teaching Haiti, Strategies for Creating New Narratives, which you co-wrote with one of your colleagues, Valerie Orlando, has been described as, quote, a timely effort to overcome stereotypes and decolonize knowledge. This unparalleled contribution inserts seldom heard Haitian voices and a much-needed post-colonial perspective into scholarly and personal narratives of Haiti. Cécile, tell me how you and Valerie approached this book and why it is an important intervention, as the reviewer said.
So both Valerie and I, as Francophone scholars, Valerie focuses on North Africa primarily and West Africa as well. It is so hard to have to teach courses that are called Intro to Francophone Studies, where we are expected in a semester to cover a whole different continents, where some colleagues who may specialize in 16th or 17th century French, they focus on a century. We have to focus on all these regions, and we often do not really touch all of them. And for both of us, as we were teaching about Haiti, we were at different universities at the time, we were often frustrated because you will either get, of course, as literary scholars, you have the literature or you get history. There wasn't that complexity, that in-betweenness where you saw Haiti from all these different perspectives. So we say, well, let's try to bring colleagues together to create the book we would like to use when we are teaching. And so that's how the project came about. So we have a variety of perspectives ranging from arts to sociology to people who work on the problematic of NGOs, film studies. It's a way to further humanize Haiti, to look at Haiti from these complex lenses, not just the simplicity of history. So the book allows us to have these different voices. And we also wanted to have Haiti be centered in Latin American studies. So we have a colleague who wrote about the importance of Haiti in Haitian studies, in American studies, and in Latin American studies. Because oftentimes it's been changing the past couple of years, but
it's set out on the side.
Exactly. Kind of. Haiti, you have people talking about Latin American studies, and they don't talk about Haiti. Whereas Haiti actually help countries in Latin America to gain their independence. These are the stories that people do not know, do not think about. They just see Haiti presently and put it in these boxes. So we wanted to challenge that narrative.
Yeah, and to bring different, as you said, different lenses, different angles to understanding Haiti and the complexities of Haiti. Well, one of those angles is film. So your 2023 book, Bailodians, Haitian Popular Film Culture, has been reviewed by a friend of mine, Regine Jean-Charles. She wrote of your book, Cécile, quote, "This book makes a significant contribution to Haitian studies, film studies, and Africana studies. Not only does it cover a topic that has not been addressed elsewhere, Haitian popular film, but it does so in an interdisciplinary way that accounts for the intersections of race, class, gender, and sexuality." And so when I read this review of the book, it reminded me of the really interesting subjects that come out of Nollywood as well. And then, of course, there's Bollywood. So tell us a little bit about Haitian popular film culture.
It's funny you should mention Nollywood because that's definitely my inspiration. In fact, when I was in graduate school, the late Frank Yukadike, who was my Nigerian professor, is the one who introduced me to Nollywood. And this was in the early 2000s at the time.
Let's tell the listeners what Nollywood is.
Okay, so Nollywood is this very exciting film industry coming out of Nigeria. And it came at a time when we didn't have all the technology. Today, it's easy. Somebody can make a film with their cell phone, but we're talking about early 2000. And what was fascinating is you have these filmmakers who were going around using the technology they had at this time, making these fascinating films. And what was interesting for me is that you had Africa to African lenses. So they were making films for local audience. So for me, having studied about Nollywood with my late professor, I became interested in seeing similarities in these Haitian films. I wanted the films that were made for the average person. And I remember living in Portland, and when I would come back east, whether in New Jersey or in Florida to visit my family, I will see them watching these films. They saw themselves, and the themes were about, migration, gender, class, issues of language. And I started watching these films myself, and I started analyzing them and seeing why they were fascinated by them. And I started talking to family members and friends, and that's where that project came. And it took me over 10 years. So I really love that project.
I have so much, as a scholar, our colleagues kind of look down on popular culture, but there's so much that we can learn from popular culture. And these films are so telling of a particular time and a particular place.
Exactly.
And I would imagine a great way for our students, this generation, to learn about Haiti.
Yes.
About contemporary Haiti, right?
Yes, and in my classes, I taught a course this fall, and I had a whole section on films in Haiti. So we had very rich discussions around representation.
Cécile, you've written a lot about foreign intervention in Haiti, and this happens in different places around the world. Interestingly, Francophone West Africa is beginning to sort of dismantle the relationship they have currently with France, and we're in 2025. So it's very interesting to see what's happening around the world. What are your thoughts right now on the relationship between Haiti and the world?
Yeah, right now, it's so overwhelming because for me, I often have to compartmentalize Haiti as my birth and home country and Haiti as a scholar and how to navigate them to try to be as objective, quote unquote, as possible. I think we are at a stage where Haitians, Haitian American, Haitian Canadian, Haitian French, etc., we are having conversation about what do we need to do when we will no longer, for instance, have organizations such as USAID. How can we become more self-sufficient? What does that mean for us? But I think what the world needs to understand, our relationship with the world right now, is how can we help people understand Haiti beyond the stereotypical media? How can we, Haitians in Haiti and Haitian Americans, Haitian Canadian, etc., intervene in a way that make things livable for the future generation? And those are some of the questions we are in conversations we are having among ourselves. And what does that look like? And it goes back to the problematic of aid. We need others, but how are they giving us the aid? What are we losing in getting that aid?
Correct.
Those are the complex conversations.
And those conversations are not complete without understanding why. So circling back to the beginning of our discussion, where Haiti is now is very much connected to what happened after the revolution, the reparations to France, all of those things. And along the way, lots of U.S. interference with presidential elections and so on. So a lot of confusion has come from outside, actually.
Yeah, and not just the U.S., France, Canada, Brazil, you have the so-called core group. And we have to give responsibility to the Haitian elites and the 1% who constantly sell their countries. That's also the reality. We cannot talk about Haiti without centering these issues. The colorism, the class issue is huge in Haiti.
Very complicated, which is why it's the subject of your life work, and it can just you can keep publishing and teaching and so on, and it'll never run out. So, Cécile, tell us about the importance of studying abroad. You have, just within a year, you have already designed 2 programs. Could you quickly tell us about those programs?
Sure. As you know, because I've burned your ears with that, I am fascinated with study abroad. I think it's so crucial and important for our students to travel, to see the world differently, even if it's for a short period. I had developed a program in Morocco with my colleague Valerie Orlando, and I took students to Morocco this past winter. I'm currently working on developing a program called Global Black Friends, where the idea is to look at France and its complexity and not just Paris, Baguette, Champs-Élysées, and to take students to spaces like Martinique and Guadeloupe, and for them to go to other cities in France, such as Nantes, Bordeaux, La Rochelle, the cities, port cities, so that people understand France's role in slavery. Because I think we often forget about the complexity and that, again, France is built on the back of enslaved people. For me, when students get out of their comfort zone, that's where the learning takes place. And that makes me so excited. I saw it. We were in Morocco for about 2 weeks. I had students who, and this is a culture program, they didn't need to speak French. But some of the students who were majoring or minor in French, I saw them using their language and their cultural skills. I saw them, dancing. When they were taking music lessons in Morocco, I saw them learning about the Amazigh culture. It used to be called Berber. To get them to think critically and not just say we are a global world, but for them to live that globalization, to live that diversity. And it's fundamental. So I'm really passionate about that. And also for me personally, as a first-generation college student, it's important for students who are first-generation of all ethnic background to have opportunities to travel. Some students don't even have passport. They don't think study abroad is for them.
Right.
And I want to change that. I want them to see themselves in study abroad. Because when they go on the job market, they can start this conversation. Yes, I spent 2 weeks in Morocco. What did you learn? What does that mean for you?
That's right. And you and I have traveled a lot. And we know that traveling from home just really opens your eyes, even about your own home, right? You're able to turn the lens back on home from outside and to see what people see in your home. So really excited about all your initiatives, Cécile. The College of Arts and Humanities is currently working on a strategic planning project where we're trying to privilege critical thinking, but also, I think even more importantly, this notion of what we're calling expansive empathy. Because how can you travel to Morocco, right? Come back and not have a different sense of who these people are, what their lives are, and then change the way you think about them. And we think that the work that we do in the arts and humanities makes our students more empathetic and therefore better citizens.
Yes, definitely, and more aware. I've had students in their journal, they reflect upon what it meant for them to be in that space. The city where we were near the Algerian border. They could see Algeria.
Oh, wow.
And one of them who's gone to law school, he told me how that moment was so impactful for him to see colonization and imperialism and the complexity of geopolitical relationships being played live for him. And of course, they were excited about eating. The Moroccan
food is great.
Wonderful food.
Yes.
And one of them told me, you know what, Professor Accilien, suddenly now I see Morocco everywhere. I was at Trader Joe's, I saw Moroccan metzi, I saw tagine. So it really, it makes a huge difference.
So, Cécile, we are so thrilled to have you here at the University of Maryland, and we feel honored that you're a huge part of the College of Arts and Humanities. I want to thank you for joining us today on Rhyme and Reason.
Thank you.
Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of some of the important questions concerning race, equity, and justice. Please join us again on Rhyme and Reason. We have another great episode coming up soon. In RHU, we're proud to be UMD's movers and shakers in our classes, in our research, and in our community engagement. We're both art makers and world changers. Be sure to visit www.rhu.umd.edu to learn more about the College of Arts and Humanities at the University of Maryland and our efforts to see a more equitable and just future for all of us. Thanks for listening.